Hey everyone, it's Hindash. Welcome back to my channel, and we are continuing the Beautopsy tutorials. Look at this face. So as you all know, I'm doing my Beautopsy series where I show you how to use my palette and kind of really dive into it and create and just have fun. Today we have Diana, who is beautiful, and I decide to really go with warm brown tones to really match her hair, a bit of that warmth and the reds. So I'm going to be basically diving into all the browns in the palette, a bit of the white, and show you how to create this beautiful look. And as always, in every video, I'm going to be creating different looks with different models and kind of changing the color stories a bit. I mean, focusing on the neutrals because I do want people to know how to use this on an everyday basis, but we'll definitely dive into the more crazy dramatic looks. So if you want to see how to create this look, then please keep watching and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Alright, so I've done Diana's base and concealer off camera, and I'm going to be going straight into eyeshadow. And to start, I'm going to be priming her eyes with MAC Painterly Paint Pot. And what this is going to do is it's going to give me a blank canvas. It's going to neutralize her eyes and get rid of any discoloration. And you know I love a good base before I do any eyeshadow. I keep thinking I filmed full videos for these looks, but I think 3 of these tutorials don't have any skin prep and base. But looking at it now, I would have just done the full tutorial, so the next looks are hopefully going to have all the usual steps. But for now, I'm excited and I want to focus on educating everyone on how to use Beautopsy. So for my Beautopsy palette, I'm going to be going in with the first shade, which is Tan Lines, and I'm going to be basically going into more of the white to set everything that I've done on her eyelids and to highlight the areas that I want to bring forward beforehand. And I'm going in a very thin layer because, again, I'm kind of just setting the base for now. And I'm going to build this up as I go. I should have tapped that paint pot because it was kind of separating, but it's done. And I'm going to focus that white on the eyelid and underneath the brow bone. Next, I'm going to be taking the shade Tan, and this is going to be all my crease work and basically the first brown that I'm going in with. And with a fluffy crease brush, I'm going to be putting that in the socket and just working that in back and forth. On the outer corner, I'm going to be swirling my brush in circular motions and bringing that in, creating a very soft, blown out V. So the outer corner is basically where I'm going to be focusing most of my color, so I'm going to be taking my time, blending that and layering that up. And repeating the same steps on the other eye. Now keep in mind that Beautopsy is a pressed pigment palette that works on the eyes and the face, and because I wanted it to work on both the eyes and the face, the formula is very thin, it's very velvety, and it's meant to be built up. So you're not going to get that really harsh, unblendable pigment right from the get-go. You're going to be able to build up the layers and to really create beautiful, diffused, soft looks, which is what I wanted. So these pigments basically blend themselves. Now that my first layer is done, which is the very soft tan, I'm going in with my mid brown, which is Feel, from the Feel Real pan. And with a smudger brush, I'm going to be creating a wing, and this is going to be the base of the wing that I'm going to be going for. So from the outer corner, I'm going to be winging that out and creating the shape that I want to go for the overall look. And you guys know I love a really sharp winged outline to lift the eyes and lift the face, so this is what I'm going to be going for. I'm going to be wiggling my brush back and forth because I really want a very blended line and because I'm going to be building this up. So going back in with my previous brush and just blending all those edges and the layers. And you know I believe in building up in thin layers, so add as you go. I'm going to be going back in with that white just to really pop and bring forward the eyelid again, just to kind of see where I'm going with this look and see how bright and contrasted I want everything. I'm going to be going in with tan on the lower lash line and focusing that on the outer edge and bringing it towards the inner part of the eye, kind of stopping halfway at the middle. And then with an eyeliner brush, I'm going to be going in with Intra, which is a chocolate brown from the Intra Fatum pan, and I'm basically going to create a sharper, more defined eyeliner on top of all that work that I did. So we get that very seamless gradient blend of browns. And as you can see, I was able to get a very sharp, beautiful line just using the powder. It is so beautiful. I'm obsessed with this color. A really good trick at this point is to look straight ahead. That's why I gave Diana a mirror and she's just looking straight ahead so I can see where I'm going to be going in with that line. Because she does have a slight hooded eye, so I want to make sure that everything looks great as she's looking straight forward, as she's talking, and not just when she's looking down. So going over any of those hooded areas is great. And I'm going to be repeating a very tiny brown wing on the lower lash line with that same color. And as you can see, I keep going back in with my blender brush and just blending all the edges and making sure everything is so beautiful. Now that I'm kind of happy with the shape, I'm going to be going back in with tan lines and just hitting that center part so I get a mix of the tan and the white, and just going over the brow bone and that middle crease. And as you can see, this gives us this beautiful, perfect blend of all the colors that I've used. Repeating the same steps on the other eye. One of the very important things for me to communicate when I was talking about Beautopsy and telling my friends about it and other makeup artists is that you really don't want to swatch it with your fingers much, because they are pressed pigments, so the oils in your fingers can really disrupt the powder. So brushes are the best way of applying this, and they go on so smooth and they just really give you that very diffused look. And I think a lot of people asked if the colors kind of get smudged together. They don't. They remain an ombre gradient throughout. Obviously they get a bit dirty on top, but if you wipe that, it's a perfect gradient underneath. And by the way, in a lot of these videos, I didn't receive my full stock. So I had basically a palette that I would use for show, which I wouldn't really touch. And then I had a palette that I would use for tutorials, which is basically very much loved and kind of all over the place. So if you see the palettes move from a very loved one to a very kind of pristine, untouched, perfect palette, it's basically the palette that I've been using for 6 months, which is basically my baby. What I love the most about this look is how all the colors match Diana's hair so well. It's very monochromatic, and there's something so beautiful about having these matching monochromatic color tones throughout the entire face. I love it. And another thing to point out is that now you'll see a bit of a switch in the footage because I changed cameras. I had a bit of problems with the other one, so I go back to my old faithful that I love. So the footage kind of gets more warmer and more of my previous style that you're used to. Okay, so pretty much done with the eyes. I'm just going back in with that dark brown and the liner brush, and then I go back to it after I work on a couple of things. For mascara, I'm going to be using the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Push-Up Lashes. I'm using that with a disposable wand and just brushing that through the top lashes and the bottom lashes. I really like this mascara. I've been enjoying it. Then I'm going to be brushing her brows up, and I'm going to be using a combination of Feel Real because it's that perfect warm brown, and then you can hit a bit of the real side, which is the gray, to kind of neutralize and make things cooler. But because Diana's a redhead, I'm going more into the feel side to keep things nice and warm. And with an angled brush, I'm just going to be feathering that powder in very lightly because she has amazing brows. I don't want to really change the shape. I just want to give them a background color and shadow. And as I'm flicking that through her brows, I'm going to be making sure that I brush the brows up and just make everything fluffy, diffuse the powder, nothing harsh, no lines, so you don't see that there's anything. And like I said, the key here is to have a background color to the brows to kind of make them pop out and stand out even more. And now that the brows are framing the eyes, I feel like I need a bit more of that feel color, which is the mid brown, and going into the crease and deepening everything up. And even as I add depth, it's still going to give me that very beautiful, flawless blend. It's not going to disrupt anything that we've done. If anything, it's just going to add to it. For blush as my base, I'm going to be taking the Nude Sticks Nudies Matte in Bare Back. And with the same foundation brush that I use, I'm going to be grabbing that product, tapping it on the back of my hand, and then going in on the cheeks. So that way everything is nice and blended, it's not going on harsh, and it's mixing in with that foundation that's already left behind on the brush. And what I love to do with cream blush is I love to tap it and stipple it into the skin so I don't disrupt anything. And a bit on the forehead. To set the center of the face, I'm going to be taking the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. And with a precise brush, I'm going to be putting very little product and pushing it into the skin. I don't want to add a lot, I just want it to be nice and fresh. And if you guys don't know, I always talk about this powder and how much I love it for dry skin, as well as all skin types. To contour Diana's nose and give it a bit of a shape, I'm going to be using tan and just going underneath the tip and across. And you know I love doing this trick, always, always, always. I feel like it just accentuates any nose and just gives it that pop and, you know, give it some love. And with the matte cream from Wet Paint, I'm going to be taking it on the tip of the nose and on the bridge. And this is going to give us a matte highlight. I'm also going to be taking that on the sides of the nose where I feel there's a bit of discoloration or shadows, and that's going to brighten and lift those areas. To set my blush, I'm going to be taking Boy Wonder and Wet Paint. I love dipping Boy Wonder into wet paint to brighten that blush and make it more wearable for lighter skin tones. And I'm going to be very lightly brushing that across the cheeks and building the color up. And with this particular blush, I really want to bring it high up and on the apples of the cheeks because I think it looks really beautiful on Diana. A bit on the tip of the nose, the chin, and the forehead. It's that really pretty flush of color. For individual lashes, I'm going to be doing Ardell individual lashes in medium, which I always love. And to kind of conceal the lashes, I'm going to be taking Fatum, which is the black from Intrafatum, and just going over it with the liner brush. And this isn't going to be a very pigmented black like a liner or a gel liner. It's just going to be very soft and diffused, and it's going to keep the attention on all the browns that we did, because I don't want to have like a dark, heavy line. For lips, I'm going to be lining her lips with MAC Boldly Bare Lip Pencil. I'm not really overlining, I'm just following the natural shape of her lips and filling them in very slightly. And for lipstick, I'm going to be taking the Lisa Eldridge lipstick in Velvet Fawn. I love Lisa Eldridge and I love her lipstick and I'm obsessed with her, so everything she does, I'm getting. And these lipsticks are just beyond beautiful. They're so good. I love to use them with a lip brush or tapping them into the lips. Such great colors. So I'm really pushing the lipstick into the lips with a lip brush because I want it to look like it's kind of just glowing from her lips, if that makes sense. I don't want a heavy layer, and I think it looks the best on Diana. I decided to put a nude on the waterline, and I'm going to be taking the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in Boundless Bisque. And as you can see, it's not too much. It just really brightens the look, and it just really suits this look, I feel. And taking a bit of the white from tan lines and wet paint and just using that as a brightener on the inner corners and the chin, basically a highlight. But you want to put this as your last step if you're doing this because this is just a brightener. And that is the final look. I'm going to be doing a bit of touch-ups, and I really, really love how this turned out. I mean, the warm browns matching the hair, the very monochromatic face, the eyes, the lips, the blush. I think it looks so, so good on Diana. Let me know what you think below because I'm obsessed. And you can shop my Beautopsy palette exclusively on my website. We do worldwide shipping, which is awesome. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and let me know what you want to see in the comments down below. I'm still working on the video, so I would love to hear your suggestions and what looks you would like to see. And I do read your comments. I'm working on getting people with hooded eyes so we can work on different techniques and just really showcase the palette and what we can do with it. So as always, I'll see you guys in the next video, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram as well to kind of have a sneak peek of what videos are coming on YouTube next. Bye.